Welcome back to part 3, and we will begin with where we left off, which was we were just about to start the next stage. So I'm going to do the planning for the next stage, and you'll see this is quite easy using the Trello application. So the first thing we will do here is to create a new list. We call it stage 2. Save, pull that over here, because this is stage 1, the initiation stage. Well, initiation and listing all the products. So now we just drag and drop the items from the products from here over to here. So let's start with number 10, WordPress theme. We can then assign that to Eric, like so. And the hours appear up here. Then the PayPal module, again, that's for Eric to do. So as you can see, it's quite easy. The hosting as well is another one, which we should do at the very beginning, is to make sure we have a good hosting contract and we can already work with it. The shop and checkout routine, that's also important. Let's put that there. Maybe something else I should point out as well. You see here where each product description has a producer, quality reviewer, and approver connected to it as well. That's part of our product description. Marketing text. Now this will be for Laura to do. Yeah, add Laura's name to that. The next one is Facebook login. That's technical, so that's Eric that does this. And let's take it up to 60 hours. We can have one more. Okay, that will bring us up to 80, which is sufficient for the first stage. Okay. All right, so that's an overview then of how we do the planning for stage 2. And now when we go to the project board and we ask to continue with the project, we can print this information or show them that information online as well to say those will be our deliverables for stage 2. Just a quick reminder on where we are. We have just completed the initiation stage of the planning stage, and now we want to start the rest of the project. We just completed the stage plan as well for the second stage, and now we can ask the project board, do we have permission to continue with the rest of the project, and do we have permission to continue with the next stage, so the next delivery stage. So we'll go here at the moment, and if they give us permission, then we can start with the next stage, like so. So here then, during this stage here, the project manager will hand out products to the team, to the developer. The developer will work on one of these at a time until all of the work is done. And before we go any further, I'd like to take a look at the 2 register files that we have created. So one is the issue register and the other is the risk register. So let's take a look at them, how I've done it. The risk register and issue register are in this list here. So let's click on risk register. And there are a number of risks here. I've divided them into high risks, medium risks, and low risks. There are 0 low risk for the moment. So the high risks, I had one called, the risk was competitors may release such a driving exam simulator soon. And the response was, well, we have to move ahead anyway because it makes business sense. So that risk was no longer active. The next risk was, Eric, our developer, may have been a bit over optimistic with the project cost estimation. So the response would be, well, we'll keep reminding him of this estimation and giving him the necessary support to get this done within the estimation that he gave. And we have another example down here. So as you can see, we can keep this very, very simple. It's also possible to use a spreadsheet for a risk register, which we can just link to as well. So that's another choice that you have, but I've used this layout here. The next one is issue register. Again, I'm using the simple layout of high level issue and a medium level issue and low level issue. So a high level one might be the hosting company is trying to add new services that we did not ask for. So we need to be very clear about our requirements and get a solid offer before we sign. And then other issues are Laura has a week vacation in April, so we better plan that in to make sure that we're not expecting her to do something at that time, and so on. So again, we can use this layout here or use the spreadsheet, the register That's the same sheet as where the business case is kept as well. Let me have a quick look at that to show you the layout. So this is our Google Sheet, spreadsheet, and at the bottom here we have other columns, and this is the one for the risk register. So I'll just go through this. So we have the risk ID, the source, so who gave the risk, the date it was given, what type of risk is it? Is it a technical risk or a person risk? Or we can add other categories if needed. A description of the risk. Then we have a measurement, or we give it a value. Is it okay? Is it serious? Or is it very bad for us? How we're going to respond to the risk owner. So who's going to monitor this and take ownership of it? And of course, if the risk is still active or not. So again, you can use that layout, or you can use the layout like we have done in Trello itself. And the next one is issue register, where again we have the ID, a description of the issue, the type of the issue, the date raised by, and so on. So again, that's just a choice that you can use to use a spreadsheet or not. So that was some information on the risk register and issue register. Next, I'd like to give you a little bit more information about the Chrome extension. So we call it PM for Trello. So I'll just go over the hours again, the product status label, how we can export the data to Excel, a simple configuration screen, and a reminder of how to install so you can try it out yourself. Again, this is our Trello interface. So let's click on WordPress theme. And let's say that this is actually done so far. So we can take the label here. We can then say it's been in development, or we can say it's quality checked. But let's say that it's been actually to quality check. So Laura has to do it next. And then we want to give the number of hours which have been done in it already. So here we say estimate 10 hours, but let's say he consumed 11 hours to do this. We click on apply and it adds it up here. Now watch what happens next. If we go down here, now the 2 hours are displayed here. I've got 10 hours and 11 hours. And that's also displayed here that 11 hours have been used up already. So that's our estimate. And that's quite a nice feature to have as well. The next thing then to remind you is the labels. So we've just used it there. Oh, if I double click again, it shows. If we go here, so the labels are like so. These are for the documents themselves. So the document description is the first two. We have done and in development. Then we have the labels for register. And if something is important or needs attention, I can also add that red label as well. It's small, but it makes it stand out in case there's some issue with that product or not. So that's a nice one to use. Then if we have an issue then on something, I can add that label as well. If the products now, once the product is completed, where we're working on these products, we start off with in development. Then once it's developed, then it'll go to be quality checked. And once it's quality checked, then it can be approved by the person who approves it, and then it's accepted. So the final step on each product will be like so. So it should have 2 green. That means the document has been approved and the product itself has been approved. Eric has already told us that he's started development of the PayPal module as well. Okay, he started work on this, I mean. Good. So that's how to use the labels. And again, it's very visual. So to give someone a status of the project, you don't need to do much. You just need to tell them, well, look at here. That's the status. The labels show the status of everything to be done. These are all the products to be in stage 2, and that's the current status of them. So nice and easy. Now there's another thing as well, feature which we can show you. It's called export to Excel or export to CSV file. So let me export to Excel because I want to show you the functionality. If you've got a lot of products in here, then it's good to have this. It's another way you can work with the data. So let's click on here. Let's export it. Let's see how it looks. Okay, now let's make this bigger. Good. Let's shut this down. We have so every product has its own number. Then we can, if we click here, we actually go directly to the card itself, which is good. So it's very easy to go from one to the other. Then we have the priority. So that's basically only fixed to the products themselves. And you can see we added a must or a should have to the products. So that takes that data there. Then the stage, which stage they're in. And as you can see, we have moved some of them to stage 2, and the rest are still in the product backlog or product description over here. The consumed hours are 11 hours here. The estimated hours are all here, and the totals are at the bottom. Then we have the type or of document status it's in. So as a document status, they're all done. And the product status are, we've got one product completed and accepted, and we've got one product in development, and then who's responsible for it, for each product. So that's a very, very good overview to have. This Chrome extension also has its own easy configuration screen. So if I go on top here and I select the little icon, because we call it PM for Trello, if I click here, this screen comes up. And the first setting here is for the number of hours per day, so the number of working hours. So you can set this to 6, 7, 8, or 9, depending on how many hours. Then you can choose how you want the hours to be displayed. So I've chosen this one here because I like to see the number of hours. But other people might like to see it on days. So you have the totals up here, and it'll say like 3 days and 2 hours and so on. Then here we can display the colors of how the estimated and consumed hours are showing. So you can see here I'm using this dark blue here. Perhaps this one is a little bit light. So if we see here, it's a little bit light there. So let's say we want to change that. And I will go back and change it to, let's say, red, so it stands out more. I click on save. Then I have to do a refresh, of course, of this. We can see it now. That should appear in red. Okay, and it's much easier to see here. All right, so that gives you an idea on how to use the configuration scheme. There's not really much to it. And if you want to contact me for features or give us feedback, you can contact me, or you can contact AC because he developed this as well with me. Okay, then how to install. Yeah, so if you go to the Chrome web shop, if you just go to Google and type in Chrome web shop or extension, Chrome extensions, you will see this page here. Then you can type in PRINCE2, or you can type in PM for Trello and just click on there. And it's the top one here. So you can download it and rate it if you want, of course. We'd love to have your feedback. And I'll just type in PRINCE2 as well to show you that that also works. Yeah, it comes up on top here. Okay, so that's basically how to install it. So let's pretend that stage 2 is being going quite well. And now that we're going to work on the stage boundary process and plan the next stage, which will be the last stage. So PRINCE2 tells us that we have to update the project plan, update the business case, create an end stage report, and then plan the next stage. So I will do these steps in the next couple of minutes, and you'll see how I do them in Trello. And this is all part of the stage boundary process. This is how stage 2 would show while we're near the end of the stage. So all products would be shown as done and accepted, and perhaps the last one is under development, which it is. And you can see as well then that all of the quality items have been approved as well. So because the quality person who did the checking has gone through all of these and checked them off one at a time, so they have passed their quality tests. So now we're on the last one here, and the hours are going okay as well. We've got 2 hours left from the estimation, and there's about 5 hours left to do, so that's sort of going okay as well. Right, now we're going to create a new column here for the stage boundary process. So we put in stage boundary. And the first product we will add is the end stage report. And again, to save time, I'll just cut and paste like so, and I'll go through it. Okay, so that's an example of an end stage report. We have the project plan. We're still going on target for 2 months. We're just about 2 or 3 hours over. The benefits are still okay. We haven't got any updates from the sales marketing person that we cannot achieve the intended benefits. The work estimation risk by Eric is doing okay because we can see that we're keeping on track. All members of the project management team are working as normal, which is good. And for lessons, we found out that Laura got some good Google Analytics tips from an expert, and we can definitely use this later in the project. And this is another nice example of an end stage report. We don't have to really add more than this, and if we want, we can add done as well there. Okay, so that's an example. Now let's update, or one of the other documents which we had to update was the project plan. But there's really no need to do this because this is a project plan right here. We can see all of the products right in front of us. So, and as we're completing a product here, we're marketing it as done. And all these products, they're part of the stage, but they're also part of the project plan as well. So we don't need to do any more there. So next is to update our business case at the end of stage 2. So let's create a new card here, type in business case. Then we can add in the link like so. Like before, we can click on attachment, then click on like so, type in business case again. And that's our document there. Now we click on open. And this is our updated business case for the second stage. Let's put in the date then. So that will be the 28th of the 4th. That's 1.3. Let's call it SB2, the end of SB2, stage boundary 2. Everything's on track, but we find out from that the costs are going to rise slightly. So let's that increase that to 6,400. We got that information from Eric. So there, as a reminder, then we have our outline business case from the beginning. Then we have our business case from the end of stage 1 and our business case at the end of stage 2. And we can see then that the project is still worth doing because this has not changed very, very much because we're still going to get the expected benefits, so we're still on target. So now let's plan stage 3. So I'll create a new list here called stage 3. Let's drag this over here. And I can now drag some items. I've already added the people to the different products. That makes it a bit easier. I can just add them in like so. Okay, and that's a total of 49 hours then for stage 3. All right, and that's basically it. That's our planning. So now we can go back to the project board with this list and say, that's our plan for stage 3. Here's our in-stage report. Here's an update of the business case, and can we continue with the project? And if they allow us to go through, which they will in this case, then we can proceed with creating these products here. So just a quick overview of where we are again. We've just completed this stage, and we've just completed the stage boundary process. So with the project plan, we didn't have anything to do. The business case, we've updated this. We've created the in-stage report, and we've created a plan for the next stage. And the project board then have allowed us to start the last stage of the project, and the closing of project process will be here. It'll be the last part of this stage. So we have now reached the end of part 3, where we looked at basically the controlling a stage process and how the second stage starts. We've also looked at the Chrome module itself and the different functionality, and we've also actually planned the third stage. And next we will focus on running the third stage and also shutting down the project.